What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip that initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you for each and every one of you for taking the times out of your days to come here and support the channel through Discord, Twitter, YouTube itself, and through the various ways you can actually support the channel too, through Patreon and YouTube membership. It really does help out. So thank you for that too. And with that being said, let's jump in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from my super secret accent. Am I the asshole for not telling a vegan mum that the candy she stole from my kid and was eating wasn't vegan? This happened on Halloween, and the day following, my neighbour, 38 female, super vegan, has 2 kids. I, 26 female, also have 2 kids. My apartment complex didn't do traditional trick-or-treating on Halloween. Residents were advised to set out pre-packaged individual candy bags on their patios / front door areas if they wanted to participate, but the traditional knock-on-door, physically hand strangers candy was not permitted. So Halloween comes and the kids are all dressed up, and each building has a scheduled time where the kids go door to door. I ended up having to work late, so my neighbour offered to walk my kids around with hers at our building's scheduled time. About 45 minutes later, my kids came home with a small bucket of candy, 6 little goodie bags, each from individual apartments that participated. Everything was fine and my kids didn't say anything weird happened. They were just excited to eat candy once they got home. Lol. The next day, I took my kids to the park directly from our apartment complex. My neighbour was there with her kids as well. The kids were playing and she took out one of those individual goodie bags with candy in it from her purse and started to loudly rummage in it. She ate several pieces of candy and my daughter eventually noticed, ran up and asked if she could have a piece, and my neighbour responded, "Nope, this is my tax candy. Remember that this was my reward for taking you trick-or-treating last night." I was a little weirded out by that statement and asked what she meant. She said that since she is the one who had to take the kids out, she took 5 bags from each of my kids as a tax. Her son then chimes in and said, "You only took 2 bags from us." She responded with, "But I'm your mum, I was only doing Opie a favour so they get a higher candy tax." I was thinking about how to respond when I noticed she was holding a Starburst candy and decided to just smile and nod and go back to watching my kids. I let her continue to finish off the bag of candy, then said, "Hey, aren't you vegan? You know those candies are made with animal products, right?" I explained what gelatin was and how a lot of those candies are made with it. She was horrified, googled it, and then told her kids that they were leaving. She said something about how she was going to be sick and stormed off. Now she's giving me dirty looks every time we see her, and we'll let her kids play as she shows up at the park and we are there. My husband thinks I'm an arsehole because I should have either not said anything about the gelatin or said something right away when I noticed. I don't think it's my job to tell a vegan what is and isn't vegan though, and she deserved it for stealing candy from little kids. I don't see how you can be the arsehole in this situation. I mean, people disagree with me on one of the last posts we talked about, but I don't quite agree with this whole candy tax thing. Especially taxing another parent's kids more because you took them out trick-or-treating. What kind of logic is that? But surely, even I know as a non-vegan, that gelatin is made from like animal byproducts and, you know, it's in so many things. As a vegan, one of the first things you must learn about is gelatin and how it's in multiple things. So I can't see you're the arsehole in this story. So let's go to the comments and see what they say. Brat the Cat says, "Not the arsehole. Gelatin is one of the first things you figure out isn't vegan anyways." And I say this as someone who didn't try veganism. It takes 0 effort to Google that and also 0 effort not to be a dick to kids. Electric Moccasin says, "Not the arsehole. Ignoring the fact that this candy tax is just sugar-coated way of thieving candy from children. It's not your responsibility to inform someone if someone is vegan or not. If this mum didn't know how gelatin is made, that's her issue, not yours." Spooky Bay 95 says, "Not the arsehole. You would be if she had an allergy to something and didn't tell her. But this was just good, petty revenge. She's the arsehole literally taking candy from babies. What kind of person is this? She took almost half of your kid's candy. That's insane. It would have been bad enough to take a bag from each child, but 2 from hers and 5 from yours? No, what a horrible person. Also, I was a vegan for 7 years, and I don't know how she wouldn't know about gelatin. It's typically an animal product. Good job, OP. This was 100% deserved." Now, what would you do in that situation? Would you have told this woman that, you know, there is gelatin in those candies? Or would you have just let her go with it? Just watched it and got that petty revenge? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Mama over Reddit. Am I the arsehole for throwing my sister-in-law and her kids out after destroying my son's Lego city? Throwaway because I suck at remembering passwords. I'm a mum of an only child, Jake, who just turned 9 back in August. Jake is obsessed with anything to do with building and wants to be an architect when he's older. I fully support this dream and have spent a crap ton of money buying the graph paper, the table, rulers, and the biggest expense, Legos. He likes to spend his time drawing out his plans for his Lego builds before he moves over to the blocks to actually build things, and I think he's fantastic at it. For his birthday, I cleared out our spare room, and hubby and I set up as Jake's office, complete with a huge Lego table. This room is my son's pride and joy, and he spends a lot of time in there. Anytime any kids come over, they have to have his permission to go in, and we enforce it. Here's where the problem starts. My sister-in-law recently left her husband, and her and her 3 kids came to stay with us. This would be fine if she hadn't started throwing a fit about Jake's office. She wanted more room in our house, even though they have the entire finished basement that has a family room and they are using as a bedroom. She wants us to clear out Jake's office so she can have space away from her kids. When we told her no, she got angry. She then started demanding we let her kids play in there because Legos are toys and Jake needs to share. I told her she was out of her damn mind because Jake said he didn't want his cousins in there, that he's working on a huge project. He has been building a city. SIL went crazy and ended up destroying all the work Jake put into his build. She said, now there's no excuse. I was beyond angry and went downstairs, grabbed her stuff, threw it into bags and threw it out my house and told her to leave. Our family and my husband thinks I was a major arsehole for what I did, and I'm starting to question if I was. Am I the arsehole? You know, in the end, it's not about the Lego, it's not about the room or anything like that. It's just about her entitled attitude. The fact that she thinks she can come into your house and then start throwing demands around like, I need more space, I need some space to myself, I need a whole room to myself upstairs, when you've already given them a place to stay while they're struggling. I feel sorry for sister-in-law's kids in this because it doesn't sound like they did too much wrong, and it's a shame their mother is acting so entitled that it's getting them into trouble too. So you're definitely not the arsehole to me in this situation, but I've got to say, what an amazing thing you guys are doing to support his dream like that. Thinking about becoming an architect at the age of 9 is absolutely amazing, and you know, support that like you're doing. Give him a room and all this space and, you know, proper graph paper, and he's used Legos to create this city. Absolutely amazing of you. Oh, I was grinning from ear to ear reading that. It was absolutely amazing. Love a bit of wholesomeness in the story. Let's have a look at some of the comments below to see what they say. Midwest Page Turner says, not the arsehole. Your sister-in-law is greedy and manipulative, but you also have an issue with your husband. You two are obviously not on the same page with your sister-in-law's living situation or Jake's office. You guys need to figure this out and be on the same team. Didn't even think about that actually. Whiskey Cheddar says, not the arsehole. It's not about the Legos, it's about her trying to call the shots and assert a dominance in your house, and when you didn't cave, she fucking damaged your child's possessions. She can get the fuck out and stay out. Any relatives that have a problem with it can take her in. Your husband probably just thinks you are too extreme because he's brainwashed into thinking you have to put up with shit behaviour from family. Sadly, most people will let family do things they would never let a stranger get away with. Stand your ground. Sage of Time says, not the arsehole. Protect your kid and his developing mind. I think what you're doing is great. Most parents wouldn't even think twice about being supportive this early on. The Glazed Donut says, see, at first I assumed you threw them out because kids ignored rules and accidentally broke his city. Even in that sort of scenario, which kind of sucks for your son, it's not appropriate to kick a family out for kids playing and having a mishap. But after reading and finding out it was in fact a grown adult who threw a tantrum and intentionally destroyed a child's prized possession, that's fucked up. You're not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this story? What would you do in that situation? Would you have chucked the sister-in-law out? But what about her kids too? Because they will suffer the same fate as sister-in-law because, you know, they're linked, obviously. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Ugly Clothes Punishment. Am I the arsehole for making my daughter wear ugly clothing as a punishment? My wife and I have a 15-year-old daughter, Lily. Like my wife, Lily loves fashion and has a huge collection of designer clothes. We don't mean to spoil her, but she is generally well behaved and very academically talented, top of all her classes at school. Unfortunately, the teachers discovered that Lily and her friends had been bullying another girl, and that Lily was the ringleader. I won't go into details, but we're told that if not for Lily's exceptional academic record, she would have been expelled from school. We offered Lily 2 punishments. 1, no phone and no contact with her friends for however long we decide. 2, no nice clothes for the same amount of time. She chose the second. My wife padlocked her wardrobe, but took a few plain tracksuits and t-shirts that she rarely wears. Lily was understandably very upset. Like her mother, she likes to dress her best for a 10-minute trip to the shop. She hates this punishment, but still prefers it over the first one we offered. I got a call from my sister today, saying that Lily had phoned her up in floods of tears about not being allowed to wear clothes she loves. Lily told her that she feels like she's in prison because she isn't allowed to wear what she wants. My sister said Lily had never sounded so upset. She tried to say that clothing is an expression of her personality, that Lily feels vulnerable and insecure in the clothes we made her wear. We don't intend to stop the punishment, but my sister's call gave me a lot to think about. Obviously, Lily needs to be punished for what she did, but I don't like the idea of making our daughter feel upset and vulnerable. Was this punishment too harsh? Now, you guys know about my past, and I was bullied in the past by 2 guys, which, if you're interested, I will explain in another story at some point. But yeah, I was really badly bullied for various things in my last year of school, and it absolutely wrecked my last year, my GCSEs and everything. So I have very little sympathy for bullies, so I might be very biased here to my own opinion. However, your daughter was almost expelled for bullying, so what she was doing must have been bad, and I'm assuming she was bullying this other girl for somewhat the way she was dressed or something, because you seem to be going down this clothing route of punishment, which it just sounds so weak. A weak punishment for bullying someone. I mean, you even let her pick her punishment. I mean, come on, man. Think about the person she was bullying, what they went through, them going home every day, crying to themselves, thinking shitty things about themselves because they're being bullied, thinking to themselves, why am I being bullied? Why am I being picked on? The mental damage this person has been caused by your daughter. Potential mental issues in the future. I know for a fact bullying still affects me to this day, and I still think about it at least every other day about what I went through, and I know the scars it can leave on a person, both physical and mental. So yes, I think she's got away very lightly. I think whether I'm wrong in saying this or not, if I had a child and I found out that they were bullying another child, I feel I would have failed as a parent, and I would have literally walked that child round. If the bullied child would accept it and make her apologise, sit down, ask the other child again if they would accept it, to explain how they're feeling, how they've made them feel. I got very little time for bullies, but as I said, I'm biased, I've been there, so. But let's have a look at some of the comments below to see what they say. Marva the Zombie says, not the arsehole, but what kind of weak ass punishment is this? This is how you punish a kid when they act out at dinner time, not when they lead a lynch mob against someone who can't defend themselves. Take her clothes, take her phone, take her fucking hair too. Your daughter deserves nothing. Kerasis says you're the arsehole for not actually addressing the issue. Why would you even let her have contact with her fellow bullies? Am I reading that right? You allowed her to wear a tracksuit so they could stay in touch with her little gang. Mr. Fish says you're the arsehole, not being able to wear nice clothes for bullying a child. You'll even let her pick her punishment, for fuck's sake. Up your game, dude. Adrizo says not the arsehole. I was bullied terribly in school by girls like your daughter, so I really want you to read this. I understand not wanting your daughter to feel upset and vulnerable, but how do you think she made this girl feel? She still probably doesn't feel a fraction of hurt that girl she bullied does. I'm not trying to shit on your daughter, but whatever she did must have been really fucking bad if the school was going to expel her. At my school, the only bullying that would get expelled was sexual assault, physical violence, or death threats. Your daughter deserves however this punishment makes her feel. Think of the other girl, think of how she must feel. Imagine if she heard that bully got let off easy from her punishment because she was sad she couldn't wear her fancy clothes. You'd be a massive arsehole if you let her off of this punishment. Hell, man. Yeah, my school wouldn't even expel someone for that. They were literally chucking paper aeroplanes on fire at people at our school, and they just got away with it. Lighting gas taps as you try to walk past. Yeah, pretty much trying to set you on fire. And the worst thing, yes, I'm going into one of my stories again. And the worst thing that I found with my bullies is that, there was 2 of them. One was bigger than the other. One was like a mountain of a guy, but the other one was sort of around average height like me. And if I wanted to, I knew I could take him, and I also knew I had 3 brothers who are all older than me, and they would have just tore him a new one, and it scared me. That sort of scared me because I didn't let my brothers know, simply because in my head, and I know this could probably sound stupid, but if I did let my brothers know and they hurt this guy, they'd probably end up in jail, and I didn't want to see that. So it was just so many mental games back that was playing in my head. It was ridiculous. But yeah, more stories for another time, I guess. What do you guys think of this story? What would you do if you was OP? Would you give them a different punishment? Would you do like I said and maybe walk them around and try to explain to the person they bullied, if the victim would accept that, of course? Or would you deal with it a completely different way? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Artorius Castus. Am I the arsehole for not letting my friend move in when he is about to become homeless? So basically, I, male 26, have been living on my own for about 2 years now. My friend, male 26, wants to move in with me because he has nowhere else to go since his grandma is passing. He doesn't want to stay with his parents because they're abusive to him, and according to him, they don't want me back. My only condition is that he get a job that can pay his rent and his own expenses. He said that he would work on it, which did not fill me with confidence since he has been searching for a job for 4 years now. He refused to get any kind of retail or fast food job because he thinks they are beneath him. He has a bachelor's in music, but I don't think he has done anything with it since graduation. His excuse being that there aren't enough opportunities for people like him. He spends most of his free time playing games. I'm pretty sure he's depressed, though who isn't these days? And I feel for him. I really do, but I am terrified he will become a burden on my life and finances since he seems unwillingly to get his life together. I told him earlier today that he would have to get a job before he moves in. He tried to sidestep what I said and asked when he could start bringing his stuff over. I told him I'm absolutely not letting him move in till he gets a job. He didn't take it well. He got mad, told me he was trying, and that it's basically impossible to get a job right now, and how much of a shitty person I was being. You know, I think this is quite a simple situation. You've laid down the law to him, and if he doesn't want to abide by that, that's his problem. If he doesn't want to take a job that's, air quotes, beneath him, then that's his problem, right? And I am sympathetic to his situation. If he doesn't want to go to his parents because they're abusive and they don't want him, and he's suffering from depression, yes, it can be very difficult, but that doesn't mean you can just leech off someone else. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but maybe you can have some sort of contract that if he doesn't have a job with X amount of time, he has to leave. But you know, then you're opening the floodgates to something else, then he won't leave basically, and then you're stuck with him, and that's the last thing you want. So I think you're totally right sticking to your guns here and going down this route. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Al Whitehorn says, not the arsehole. When someone gets mad at you for saying no, it doesn't mean you should have to say yes. Your concerns are legitimate. If you don't maintain your boundaries now, I don't foresee this ending well once he's moved in and is playing video games at your place. Spooky Bay says, not the arsehole. Good for you for sticking up for yourself. He's not a child and you don't need someone, even a friend, freeloading off you. You're not being unreasonable at all by asking him to get a job before he moves in. It's common sense. What does he expect? You just to foot all his bills while he runs up your electric bill playing WoW or something. He needs a reality check. It sounds like he doesn't want to move in with his parents because they refuse to enable him. Don't let him move in. Next thing you know, he won't have found a job and he'll be refusing to leave. FF Screech says, not the arsehole, you're allowing him to move in. You gave him your terms and he refuses to meet them. If he wants it badly enough, he will stoop to find a job. Rogue's Gambit says, not the arsehole, he would just leech off you if he moved in, especially as he's picky with jobs. And Crewy C says, not the arsehole, I think this is a legitimate condition that you presented to him. Some rental apartments / houses require you to show proof of employment to rent from them. You don't want someone leeching off you all day while you go to work, especially if they aren't contributing anything. You aren't asking for much, you aren't asking him to pay up front, just he has a job, which he refuses to do. Jobs aren't beneath him, and homelessness doesn't seem beneath him either. And Throwaway says, not the arsehole, and honestly, it shouldn't be solely up to you. If he's going to move in, this needs to be discussed with the landlord, and he needs to get his own lease. Straight Jacket Racket says, not the arsehole, COVID is given an awfully convenient excuse for someone who'd already been freeloading for 4 years. Maybe retail / service jobs won't be beneath him anymore if he can't get beneath someone else's roof. Now, what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do in it? How would you deal with it? Would you let your friend move in because they're suffering with depression and all that kind of thing? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again, guys, thank you for all the lovely support you've given me just recently. I hear comments sometimes where you guys say it's helped you through your day and it's helped you through, you know, certain situations, and that just makes everything so much more worth it. It's just so wholesome of you to post that, and it's just absolutely amazing that, you know, these videos can do that, and I'm blown away by it. So thank you so much for your comments, your likes, sharing the videos around, and join me on Twitter and Discord. It's absolutely lovely. The community that we have building right now is absolutely amazing, and it's a great time to get involved. Hopefully there'll be some more stuff happening very soon. I'm hoping to post more members videos absolutely starting from this Saturday. So if you're not on Patreon or YouTube membership, now's a great time to get involved, as I said, but only if you can afford it, of course. Do not pressure yourself to do so. Normal videos will continue to keep coming. Much love to you, and thank you for the time out of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.